Hello, Pokerbrandon here, and in this hand, let's talk about a pocket tens hand that I had in the small blind playing at the Gardens. We were 8-handed. It was 5-5 no limit hold'em, 300 to 600 buy-in. And if you're not familiar, basically I'm using this app to talk about actual hands played at live poker, live cash game poker. So, side note, reason for these hands is to give you insight on how players play at different casinos that I play at and mistakes that I make, or profitable ways that I play that you can use for your advantage when playing cash game poker. In this hand, I have pocket tens in the small blind. There was a new player, somewhat, you can tell he was new. He was raising a lot, 3-betting a lot. He was kind of like a rookie that is trying to play GTO type player. He opens low jack. He 3-bets +1 after a $15 raise. My bad, sorry, I just got off a session right now, currently driving home. And now I'm talking about this hand. Anyway, after a 3-bet and a call from the button, playing pocket tens here, I see merit to raising as well as seeing merit to just set mining. When there's action like an open and a 3-bet, usually you got to look out for the very strong hands. Aces, kings, queens, jacks, all those hands just have me dominated. If I do 3-bet and I get 4-bet, I'm just put into a if I do 4-bet and I get 5-bet, I'm put into a very tough spot of not knowing whether my opponent has a bigger overpair or like ace king, in which case at best I'm just flipping. So I elect to just make the call and set mine. Yes, I do set mine with some premium type hands. So I make the call to 45 and we end up going 4 ways to a flop. Now, I wouldn't say any of these players were like pros, but the player to my right on the button, he was you could tell he was a recreational player, but he was somewhat playing correctly. I guess he was making the right folds when he needed to. And and then the recreational player on the +1, I felt like he was opening a lot, always to like 15. All their VPIPs were relatively high. If anything, my VPIP was the lowest. So, Jack 3-4 flop comes out and 2 hearts on board. It's going to check all the way around. So that was actually a very good sign after seeing it check all the way around. Feels like a lot of these guys might have just called with like Broadway hands like king queen, ace king, maybe even in the low jack, but he just didn't want to put out a c-bet. I do find that some of these new players, they raise with ace king pre-flop and they just sort of play face up after the flop. I tend to see that quite often here at the 5-5 Gardens. So it's not unusual to just see like just a 3-bet and then a check all the way because somebody has ace king and they don't want to bet unless they have a pair. And when the button doesn't bet, I get the feeling like even he doesn't have like a very strong hand. Could be like ace queen, maybe a small pocket pair. And at this point, I do feel like my tens are good here. Now, when the 6 of diamonds comes, I feel like I could put out a bet here, but because it did change the action, the nuts on the flop, I just want to check it. On cards that change the nuts on the board, I like to check when I'm out of position and mostly check call. So after I check it and everybody checks around, I'm giving like +1 some like over Broadway hands like king queen, king jack type stuff. Obviously not the jack, maybe king 10 suited. I'm giving the rookie in the low jack like ace king suited, ace queen suited. And then the button, however, I'm giving him like when he bets, I think he could have maybe picked up a diamond draw. But I feel like he has more pocket pairs like pocket 2s, pocket 5s, pocket 7s, 8s, 9s. I feel like all those hands might want to put out a bet here after it checks around twice, and all of those hands I beat, holding pocket tens. Now the question I have before I put out a call or a raise is whether or not I think the players behind me will follow. I felt like if I just called it, they were not gonna put in any more money and they would fold and I would get heads up. So I decided to just go ahead and make the call. We go to a river and the river is a 2 of hearts. So now fives actually gets a straight. And because pocket fives gets a straight and a flush now completes, I think it's okay to just check call or just check fold here. And I think a lot of the time, if my opponent on the button was betting a diamond draw, I don't think he's the player to go ahead and try to bluff at it after he missed. I feel like a lot of players here at the Gardens, if they go for a bluff, it's like a one-time bet bluff, and if they miss, they just give up. So I felt like he was going to give up a lot of the time if he did have a draw and missed. And I also feel like if he did hit a flush, he's going to bet, and then I can evaluate the sizing and try to decide if I want to call or not. If he does have pocket fives, he might bet, in which case I evaluate. Or if he has a flush, or if he has a straight and he's scared, he may even check back. A lot of these players too, they get too scared, and I don't see enough thin value bets when I feel like they need to put out a thin value bet. Like a set might not bet here, two pair probably won't bet here, straight may not even bet here. Sometimes I see it a lot. I even see flushes here that get to the river that may not bet on very tight players. But this player in particular, I did expect him to put out a bet for like a straight, and then depending on the sizing, I would have to judge whether or not it's like missed diamonds or not, or maybe like a pocket sevens, pocket eights hand that I'm still good with. But he ends up checking back. He mucks his hand after I show my hand, and I'm good. So what do you think on the river there? How would you play that? Pokerbrandon, I'm out.